Hi gang, it's Tex here, and today I'd like to share with you my big 3 items for my 2021 through hike of the Appalachian Trail. These 3 items will include my pack, my tent, and my sleep system, which is both my sleeping bag and my air pad. Most of these items did go with me on my 2020 through hike attempt, so they have been used before. This year I'll be starting all over again, starting from Georgia in early March. Once it starts warming up, I'll be swapping out some of the heavier winter items for lighter summer versions. While I'm not an ultralight hiker, I do still try to buy the lightest version of the gear that still keeps me comfortable. So just for reference, my big 3 items that are summer weight weigh in together at 5 pounds 11 ounces. My entire summer base weight is 13 pounds 7 ounces. Now if we go over to my winter gear, my big 3 winter items weigh in at 7 pounds 10 ounces, and my pack base weight for winter gear is 17 pounds 9 ounces. And without further delay, let me show y'all my big 3 items for 2021.
The pack I'll be using is Zpacks Arc Haul Zip, which is a 64-liter pack made of water-resistant grid-stop fabric. I would recommend using a liner with this pack because on rainy days I did notice some wetness and dampness inside the pack. I bought such a large pack thinking that I could use it year-round. It's big enough to fit my winter gear in as well. I also liked that the pack body had a zipper on it so that in a pinch I could easily access items that were within the middle and the bottom of the pack without unpacking the things on top. Turns out that is not a feature that I use, especially if you have a pack liner. I also like the idea of the center outer pocket. I had believed that it was waterproof and I could keep more items in there that would not get wet. As mentioned, that is not the case, so any items that are water sensitive need to be within a liner. The accessories I purchased were the roll top closure straps, 2 hip belt pockets. These accessories were not Zpacks. There's a Mountain Hardware cell phone case and 2 custom made bags by Etsy's Justin UL. I have a water bottle holder that fits a 1-liter bottle and a FUD bag or female urinary device that fits a pee style. One thing I do not like about this pack is there's no good place to put a wet tent. I tried putting it in the large outer pocket. When the tent was dripping, it would drip into the pocket, and then I had standing water in there that I was hauling around. I next tried rolling the tent up into a very tall burrito and stashing it in one of the side pockets of the pack. That didn't work the best because the pack would sometimes scrape on trees as I was passing through certain areas. I didn't want to put the tent on the bottom of the pack in case I had to set the pack down. I didn't want anything to puncture or scrape the tent. So I had Justin UL make one more custom bag. This is a mesh bag that I'm going to put my wet tent in, and I plan to store it on top of the bag. I was brainstorming with a representative from Zpacks, and they believe storing a wet tent on top of the pack is probably the best option. So I had this mesh bag custom made to protect against any abrasion from the pack straps. And I'm excited to see if this might be a good solution for this pack. The tent I'll be using is the Zpacks Duplex. It is a Dyneema Cuban fiber or DCF tent, which is nice because that fabric does not retain rainwater. It is a single wall tent, which means you will have some condensation at times, but that is one of the trade-offs versus the lighter weight of this fabric and a single wall. It has 2 large vestibules, and it's set up using trekking poles as the supports, as this is not a freestanding tent. Great things about this tent: it is very light and it's very tall and also very roomy inside. It is technically a 2-person tent. That would be a very tight squeeze, but it's a lot of nice room for 1 person, and you can fit all of your gear inside as well. I'll also be using Zpacks 32-inch carbon fiber tent pole, as well as the trekking pole cup. This is a little support that just helps to create a little more headroom on the side that you'll be sleeping on. You can use sticks as well in place of this, and I did use sticks on the other side. This only weighs 1 ounce though, so I do like to take it just for that added headroom. The warmer sleeping pad I'll be using is the Nemo Vector Insulated. I have the tall and wide version. It's a rectangular air pad with 3-inch tall baffles. It also has an integrated pump and a nice air dump valve that releases the air from the air pad very quickly. I turned out to be a very cold sleeper, and so while this air pad is a little bit heavy, it does keep me nice and warm. Aside from the weight, it is very, very nice. The air pad I'll be using once it gets warmer is a new item for me this year. I picked up a Therm-a-Rest NeoAir UberLite, also in the tall and wide version. I tried the regular width and I did not like it. I'm a side sleeper and I felt like I was going to roll off one side or the other, and when laying on my back, where do your arms go? My elbows were down on the ground. But this tall and wide version is very comfy for me. It is still very lightweight. It's not very warm, so I am going to have to wait until temperatures warm up quite a bit to use this one. The warmer bag that I'll be using for the start of the hike is the Western Mountaineering Versalite, which is 0 degrees, plus I had it overstuffed. I normally wouldn't purchase such a warm bag for starting in March. However, I already had this bag from last year's start in February, and since I already had it, I'm going to go ahead and use it this year to stay warm until it warms up. I tried supplementing my quilt, which you'll see next, and it turns out that it just wasn't doing it for me. So I did go ahead and bite the bullet and buy this bag, which is much warmer. It kept me warm throughout the Smokies. I believe some nights it got down into the teens. And note that I was wearing pretty much all of my dry clothing within the bag, but I did stay warm. The sleeping bag I'll be using once it warms up is the Enlightened Equipment Revelation Quilt, which is 20 degrees. I purchased the tall version. If I had to do it again, since I'm 5'5", I would just get the regular size. This quilt has a zipper on the underside, and the pros of a quilt is that there is no material on the bottom side where it would get compressed anyway and wouldn't provide you any extra warmth. So it's a little bit of a weight savings there. It has quilt straps that keep it in place on your air pad. This quilt has a cinchable foot box, which means you can also uncinch it and unzip it entirely so that it can be used as a blanket.
And that's it. I hope y'all found this helpful. If you are doing your research looking to purchase your own gear, keep in mind that this is the gear that has worked for me so far. That does not mean that it won't swap out in the future. Also, I am a very cold person and a very cold sleeper, and some of my gear does reflect this. But remember, everyone's different. I would recommend, if you're doing your research as much as you can, especially look for reviews online and videos. Then make your best educated decision, pull the trigger, buy that gear, and most importantly, take it out into the field and test it. There's no substitute for testing to make sure the gear will actually work for you. If it doesn't, look online, look to resell what you just purchased, and make your more informed decision on the next piece of gear that will work better for you. Again, hope this helped. Hope y'all are having a wonderful day. See y'all next time. Bye-bye.